He doesn't.
They didn't hear anything you just said because I didn't turn the mic up.
Oh.
Now the mic's up.
Wa-bam, wa-chow, ka-chow. That's what I said this right when we started, right?
Yeah.
That's what you missed.
She's got energy today. I do not.
Well, that's because our air conditioning stopped working last night. And
the control board went out, and they called us at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and we don't wake up that early. So
yeah, they woke us up. So
they woke us up.
Happy Friday, guys! If you're here from the Printify webinar and you have no idea who we are or what we do here, welcome. Yesterday's Printify webinar was absolutely awesome. For those of you who did not see it, you can go over to the Printify YouTube channel, then just click on the live tab, all their videos. They got like playlists, live uploads, yada yada. Click on the live tab. I was the last live stream that you can find on the channel, or just search Starla, more Printify rank or ranking, and you should find it. But today, we're going to be talking about reasons why your Etsy listings may not be selling. I thought that this would be a great topic for today, especially since there are a couple newbies here in the chat. If you're new, feel free to let us know. Yay, happy Friday. Okay, everybody can hear us now. Good. But one of the most common questions that we get is, hey, I've got all these listings in my shop, but nothing is moving. It must be my SEO. Well, probably not. Your SEO is probably the last thing that you need to worry about in the order of importance, the priorities in this process of elimination that I like to go through when it comes to listings that aren't selling. Now, a couple quick disclaimers about listings that don't sell. Not all of your listings are going to sell. And this
they won't.
This is one of the reasons why sellers who have like 2,000 listings in their shop, it's just not a really good strategy. First of all, you're going to have to pay the listing fees for all of those listings.
It gets expensive.
Does get very expensive. Second thing is that typically with any, Etsy shop, you're only going to have a couple listings that hit that bestseller status or that sell over and over and over again. And that's completely normal. You'll probably have a couple sales on your other listings, but really you're going to have a few listings that get people into your store. I like to compare this to, a car lot where the dealership is going to put the beautiful sports cars out front. And yeah, like those are what get people in to the car lot. But a couple people are going to drive away with the minivan that they don't put right up front. So these listings that are bestsellers are going to rank higher in search because they're going to have higher listing quality scores. Hopefully if they're getting a lot of sales, they're also getting positive reviews. These further to help your listing quality scores. I think
that's mine.
That's yours.
So I'm asking you to give it.
That will further help your listing quality scores, and it will help them to rank higher in search. So it's completely normal if you do have a few listings that do very, very well, and then the others are just kind of straggling behind. Absolutely normal. But you can always make some improvements, especially if you've got listings that have never sold at all. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, diagnosing those problems. Before we dive into that, just a couple quick announcements. Obviously, yesterday was the Printify webinar. You guys can go back and re-watch that. They did email me today with the winner of our Handmade Alpha Academy giveaway. So that's really exciting. I have not reached out to that winner yet. So I only know their first name, and I don't want to say their first name because it's a very common first name and everybody with that first name will freak out. So I'm going to reach out to them right after the Friday Bean and let them know that they were selected this morning as the winner. And then if they're okay with it, I might make an announcement, everywhere about the winner. And if they're not okay with it, then, I won't say anything.
Yeah, so we don't want to announce them publicly unless they're
right.
Unless they're cool with it. We had a couple people asking. You'll know if it's you.
It's true.
You'll know if it's you by probably about 2:00. This afternoon.
So giveaway information is coming. My Etsy coaching program, the Handmade Alpha Academy, will be opening on June 14th. We are only a few days away. If you have questions about that, make sure that you save those until the end. I would much prefer answer your questions about it here live. I hate answering emails. I'll do it if I have to. If you guys have questions that you don't want to post here, feel free to email me at Starla at handmadealphaacademy.com if you want to pop that.
Starla at handmadealphaacademy.com. And also, please try to keep them short and to script. have a new policy of any more than 4 paragraphs, and I don't read it.
Yes, we
Try to keep it short, please.
oh my goodness, we get life stories in our inbox and they take so long to answer.
Just
so.
keep the relevant content in there, delete everything else.
Yeah, I'm trying to dedicate 2 minutes per email from now on.
We try to love all of you, but it's
you make it hard for us to love you.
No. We really do care about your stories. I just don't care to read them all the time because it's a lot.
It is. It's hard.
I don't want to sound like a stinker, but we get like 40, 50 emails a day.
Well, here's the option. We either hire help and you get stuck with a customer service representative, or you get Marc and Starla.
Yeah.
So I think you guys want Marc and Starla.
Yeah, because we can give more personal responses.
Yeah, we don't have staff, Okay, so that's out of the way. Handmade Alpha Academy opening on June 14th. On the week after HAA opens, that will be the week of the 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. That will be Critique Week. We will be doing live Etsy shop critiques every day for 4 days straight for the HAA, enrollment period.
Mm-hmm.
We like to do those to kind of, help to bring some buzz to our coaching program, but also because you guys love shop critiques. You guys always ask me how to get one. You have to be live, and we'll be pulling them randomly from the chat. So you're going to have to show up live. They'll be probably at noon Eastern, like, this live stream is. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure that even if you're not planning on joining HAA, everybody is welcome to participate in those shop critiques. Even if you don't get picked for a shop critique, there is a ton that you can learn just from watching other shops get critiqued.
I actually really like how Printify handled the giveaway yesterday, and I was actually thinking about switching over to you. I don't remember what the service was, but they had a thing where people had to click in. They had to provide the email address, so we could require people being on our email lists to be able to participate in those things, and then they could submit their shops directly. It would go into a list, and we could have it randomly pick.
Okay, well,
that's what Printify does.
Figure out logistics later.
When is that again?
The Critique Week?
Yes.
It is from the 19th through the 22nd, and then the 23rd, we will do our standard live stream here. So, okay. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road.
Absolutely not.
If you guys end up having questions, we will answer all of those at the end. Today's topic shouldn't take too long. If you're new here, we answer as many questions from the chat as possible. I know
Typeform. Yeah. Typeform, that's what they use.
Typeform. Oh, that's the name of it?
Typeform, that's what Printify uses.
All right, while he's getting our stuff. While he's getting our stuff set up here.
We are good.
Yeah.
All I have to do is hit a button here, so we know we're ready.
Go ahead.
Do it. Screecher.
Help! My Etsy listings aren't selling. What do I do?
Just give up.
No,
it's over. Don't do it anymore.
Don't give up. Don't give up. So if your Etsy listings are not selling, don't immediately assume that the algorithm has changed. Don't immediately assume that it's a problem with your SEO, okay? That SEO is the last thing that I want you to worry about touching. However, there are a couple little bits and pieces that you should also be aware of. First of all, if you're new to Etsy or if this is your first summer season, summers on Etsy are always slow, always. The period between May through August is slow for all e-commerce because people are not sitting indoors on their computers. They are out. They are going on vacation. They are saving their money for the holiday season. They are, in their yards and having fun and taking their kids out. So don't freak out if you notice a stall in sales. We call it the summer slump, and it has been happening since the, evolution of online shopping. It is just a normal occurrence. Now, we are seeing a lot of drops in traffic on Etsy right now in general across all industries, but that does not mean that you cannot still make some sales. One thing that I do recommend during these slow periods is to post on platforms like Instagram, because during the summer, people are still sitting on their phones. Even if they're on the beach, they're on their phones. If they're out at a nice restaurant, they're on their phones. If they're sitting in their yard, they're on their phones. But they're not shopping. They're scrolling through social media and posting their pictures and showing off their cool vacations. So you just have to kind of direct them where you want them to go. This is a great time to start building up your social media or media following. And Instagram, I think, is one of the best because it's low barrier to entry. I do have my free 30-day Instagram challenge kit listed down below. That is a phenomenal resource for anybody who wants to grow their Instagram account up and actually learn what they should be posting every single day in order to grow their audience. So consider grabbing that if you haven't already and if you want to drive some traffic externally. But just so everybody knows, until August, expect your sales to be a little bit slower. So, first of all,
you can just hit the right area.
Yeah. You need to ask yourself, is there demand for the thing that I am selling? Because a lot of the times when I see sellers, especially in print on demand and digital and you know, products that are very low effort to create, I see a lot of products that not a lot of thought went into. I see a lot of products where it's just a random design slapped on a shirt, and then, you know, the creators are wanting to know, why isn't this selling? Well, a human has to want it. There's not a magical algorithm that says, yes, you have listed this product, you automatically deserve a sale. We are going to award you with money. That's not how it works. There has to be a human being on the other side of the screen that says, this connects to me and I want this, and I'm going to choose this over every other product that has been presented to me. So if you're not passionate about what you're doing and you're just trying everything and throwing spaghetti at the wall, it's very unlikely that you're going to make sales. And like I said, unfortunately, we see this a lot in this new era of get rich quick POD, drop ship, yada, yada, you know, create 6,000 listings to be successful on Etsy culture that has evolved over the last few years, which we mainly saw start triggering after the pandemic, more people at home wanting to make easy money. It makes sense that, you know, okay, I can put things on shirts, people will buy them, I will make money. I do not have to, you know, worry so much about putting in a lot of work. I can just create a lot of product. But this should not be the focus. I created a video, I believe it was not this last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before, about the importance of niching and if Etsy's algorithm favors niching. So make sure that you go back and watch that if you're one of those shops that sells a little bit of everything. But even if you're not in digital and print on demand, maybe you make, I don't know, beaded bracelets, maybe you make crochet washcloths. You still need to make sure that not only is there demand for what you're selling, but are you selling it in the right way? Are you marketing it in the right way? Are you calling it the thing that you should be calling it? I have seen shops that have beautiful, like sterling silver and crystal bracelets and, you know, things that are beautiful, but they're listing them with these really technical words that shoppers are never going to know to search for. Maybe they're just being way too specific about the type of gemstones being used. When in reality, you know, I don't know to search for a labradorite sterling silver bracelet. I might just search for blue gemstone bracelet on Etsy. So we need to think base level when it comes to how customers search, because maybe there's demand for what you're selling, but you're not using the words that your customers are using. And again, this is where tools like eRank come in handy, because you can start doing a little bit of keyword research and identifying the exact terms that people are using. But it is important to make sure that you are looking for the terms that your actual customers are using. And whoever you just banned from the chat, if you've got a problem with us donating to a charity that prevents LGBTQ youth from committing suicide, get out of here. We don't want you here.
Your priorities are the ones that are in question. We don't care what your opinions are. It's a suicide prevention organization.
Get the hell out of here. We don't want you here. Anyway, we don't normally call people out in the chat, but that was flippin' rude. Yeah. And
keep your political crap out of suicide prevention.
Absolutely. Thanks. And this is a great time to shout out today's charity, the Trevor Project, which provides chat lines, tech support. They have 24-hour help and support for children and teens who don't have support at home, who are thinking about self-harm. They provide a wonderful free service to these children. So consider donating. They are a great organization. And obviously we decided to do that for Pride Month.
Remember, all love is love, and all other subjects aside, we believe that all love is love and everyone deserves equal treatment. So if you don't like that, bye.
Okay.
Anyway, back to it.
Do it. Consider donating. We've already raised
This isn't a political channel, so I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't find that to be political. Children not killing themselves is not political. That's a problem that everybody should be actively participating in.
Thank you for your donation.
We appreciate you, Amber. All right, let's hop to second. Are your photos bad or generic? Bad photos. So I snapped the photo on the left of a necklace that I already had, but this is a common photo that I see where people will just lay a piece of jewelry down on a desk or their kitchen tiles or a towel or, their carpet, and they'll snap a photo with their cell phone, and there's artificial lighting or the lighting from their overhead ceiling, whatever. It looks awful, guys. You need to make sure that you're taking great photos if you are taking those photos on your own. I highly recommend going back on our channel to the episode of the Friday Bean that we did with photography coach Christina Nicole. She is a fantastic photography coach. You can find her YouTube channel by searching by Christina Nicole, BY Christina Nicole. She is absolutely awesome, and she can help you to take phenomenal product photos if you shoot your own. So photos are one of the most important things that you can do for your listings for several reasons. First of all, it doesn't matter how good your search ranking is. It doesn't matter how good your SEO is. It doesn't matter how good your product is. If you're on a search page, on page 1 next to tons of competitors, and your photo looks like poo-poo and their photos look phenomenal, they're not going to click on you no matter what your rank is, no matter how high in search you are. So your photos are the single most important thing that you can do for your listing. You need to make sure that you have great photos, and it doesn't take a lot of money. You can absolutely do it with your cell phone, which is photography coach Christina Nicole almost exclusively teaches how to get those great photos with your cell phone. So just make sure that you are really prioritizing learning that product photography. And just a quick disclaimer, we actually do provide Christina Nicole's Product Photography Essentials Workshop for free with our coaching program that will be opening on June 14th. Normally, her program is $197. So you get that included with HAA. That's like a newer thing that we've added. So that's a really, really great program for those of you who are already in HAA or who are thinking about joining. You will be getting that. But the second part is generic photos. So I've grabbed a screenshot from my own Printify store for my book. For those who don't know, I have a science fiction book called The Channel that you can buy on pretty much all online book retailers. But I just grabbed, the raw mock-up that I got of one of my shirts right from Printify and, stuck that in my shop, and it's got the white background, and it's just kind of lame, right? We've seen mock-ups that look like this where that you can tell that they're just straight from the POD company. Nothing fun has been done with them. And we see these exact same mock-ups over and over and over again. If you go to Etsy right now and type in like mom shirt and start scrolling through the listings, I guarantee that you are going to see tons and tons and tons of the exact same mock-ups used over and over and over again.
A lot of the exact same designs too.
Yeah. So get creative with those mock-ups. With a Canva Pro subscription, you can go in and remove the background from your images, spice it up a little bit, change them up, make them look unique. You can make your own flat lays using Canva. You can, just get the shirt cut out and lay it flat on maybe like a wood textured background, add like a little top down cup of coffee sitting next to the shirt or some notebooks. That way you can create your own mock-ups and make sure that they are all unique and interesting, right? So get creative with how you present those products so that you're not blending into all of the other mock-ups, even if you rely on those. And if you don't and you take your own photos, make sure that you are using natural lighting, you're being very conscious of the environment, anything that is visible in the products, making sure that the background doesn't distract from your product, and making sure that the background color complements the product that you're selling. So again, Christina Nicole is a great option for those of you who DIY your photos and actually take them yourselves.
I mean, remember, Etsy is a platform for selling your art. Like, be artistic. Be artistic in everything that you do.
Absolutely.
You can't make the same Yes Bay t-shirt on the same shirt from the same company as 5,000 other people and be mad when it doesn't sell. somebody already captivated that idea and captured it and made it their brand.
Absolutely. All right, next one. Do you have enough photos? So this is a big one. There's no algorithmic benefit to having all 10 listing photos filled out. I know that there's a couple Etsy coaches out there that say that the algorithm is like counting your photos. They don't. They're not looking at how many you have, but your photos are a window into what you sell. They are the additional views of the product that the customer needs in order to form an opinion. So there are a couple benefits of having all of your photos. First benefit is that they keep shoppers on that listing page for longer, which is what we ultimately want to do. The more time that a shopper is on that listing page going through all the photos, the more likely it is that they will complete their purchase, right? We want to try to capture them for as long as possible. So they're thinking about it. They're thinking the entire time as they're going through all of your photos. It's almost like we're trying to kind of keep them engaged for as long as possible in order to convince them, to persuade them to add that product to their cart. So the more photos that you add, the better chance you have of actually persuading them to click the add to cart button. Second thing is that if they have questions about your product, your photos can answer those questions without you needing to provide direct support. What if they're curious about the size of the product? Well, they could message you, but in the time that it takes you to maybe I don't know, maybe you are asleep when they message you, in the time it takes you to get back online, reply to their message, and them to see that response, they could have already moved on to the next shop and bought from one of your competitors. Now, with your listing photos, obviously it can be hard to take 10 photos of an item if, you're selling this pink cup that your cousin made.
Mm-hmm.
Blown
they
glass
can't
cup.
see it because we're about an inch on the corner of the screen, but yes.
If you're selling this pink glass cup, yeah, there's only so many angles necessary to show that this is a cup.
Crystal, by the way.
Crystal cup. But you could put in an info photo that says, the sizing, what it's made of, what is it microwave safe, is it dishwasher safe? Being able to have all of that information on one of your photos helps to eliminate questions because most buyers are not going to read the product descriptions, especially since Etsy makes you actually expand those out to even read them. But they are going to look at all 10 of your listing photos. So make sure that you're filling all of those out, both for the purpose of answering questions that the customer might have about your product and for the sake of making sure that you're keeping them on that page for as long as possible. And this is something that you guys can work on during the slow season. Try experimenting with different angles, try experimenting with different little info photos that have your care instructions or whatever they need to know about your product. If you're print on demand, maybe you've got information about your products from your order may ship separately. There's all kinds of things that customers should probably know before placing the order. Or if there are questions that you frequently get in your Etsy messages, that's a great place to acknowledge those. That way you're kind of preventing people from hitting that button and requesting direct support from you. And, obviously that also can help you to maintain your star seller status if you're sick of getting the same questions in your inbox over and over and over again, and you struggle to reply with them to them within 24 hours. So whole big spiel there. Next, is your pricing too high or too low? This is a big one, and there are some really confusing photos here, but they all have a purpose. So when it comes to pricing, too high of a price obviously can be a turnoff, but too low of a price can also be a turnoff. And more oftentimes than not, I see sellers underpricing their products or trying to compete with the low end of their market. You guys all know that I say try to price in the top 10% of your industry, which means whoever the top dogs are in your industry, you should be pricing next to them. So let's start with a little example of anchor pricing, which is a really important concept to know and one that we cover in depth in Handmade Alpha Academy.
And we literally just got an email yesterday from someone saying that I already price as low as I possibly can on all my products. Why aren't they selling? Right.
The anchor price is a really important concept. So here's a little summary, it's like a little freebie from HAA. if I were selling you that little number 2 pencil, right? Little yellow pencil with a pink eraser. We've all got one in our junk drawer, right? I'm selling you that pencil. How much would you be willing to pay for that yellow pencil? Feel free to let me know in the chat. How much would you be willing to pay for like a standard number 2 wooden yellow pencil?
Adjusting for inflation, about 50 cents.
About 50 cents. That is a lot more than I would pay. How much is a box of those pencils?
$2, $2.50.
Yeah, for like 20 pencils.
I'm thinking like I'm in an office and they don't give you pencils for free. What is the office going to charge me for that pencil? I think 50 cents, a quarter.
Yeah.
I think a quarter's fair, but 50 cents is probably what they got to get their quarter out of it, you know?
Yeah, I think that my school, we had the little vending machine where you could get the pencils, and I think they were like 10 cents.
Sell me this pen.
$2, 25 cents, $1, 1 cent. Yeah, so you guys all have like an anchor in mind, and they're all kind of around the same range. Nobody has said over $2 yet, right?
No,
but
Laura said a pound. I don't think they weigh quite that much.
Shut up. So if I told you that I am selling that little yellow pencil for $10, you guys would want to know why. Why? Why are you selling that pencil for $10? How can you justify that price? How is that yellow number 2 pencil worth $10? Because you already have an anchor in mind. You just presented the anchor of what you would be willing to pay for that pencil. Because there's a frame of reference for how much a pencil usually costs. We know that pencils aren't very expensive. Therefore, you can't price much higher than that unless there is an amazing feature that makes your pencil unique from all other pencils. But for the most part, if it's just a yellow number 2 pencil with a pink eraser, you're not going to be able to charge more than a couple cents for it, right? That is an example of brands that should price low. For example, if you sell little stickers, you're probably not going to be able to sell one of your little stickers for $20. People already have a general price in mind for how much they're willing to pay for a sticker. However, what we see more times than not is sellers who are underpricing and devaluing their product. So in this example, I have 2 identical diamond rings, okay? What if one of these diamond rings was listed for $10,000, but the other diamond ring was listed for $100. They're in the same shop. You're looking at both of them. They look almost identical. Would you assume that the $100 ring is a good deal? Or would you assume that it is either a dropship product, not handmade, something that someone has bought off of eBay and is reselling, or it's just inferior? Maybe it's not really a diamond. Maybe it's not real gold. You wouldn't think, wow, what a steal. You would be suspicious. You would want to know what the heck is wrong with this. Why is this so cheap compared to the other more expensive product? And the more expensive product would be the one that you would be assuming is the better product or is worth more. So when we look at your listings in your shop, when I see sellers who talk about, oh, I've listed my products as low as I can possibly get them, you're appealing to the wrong market. You're appealing to the people who are looking for the cheap and junky. If you're creating a product that is not cheap and junky, don't price it like it's cheap and junky. You want to price at that top 10% right next to the highest priced products in your industry, because that's going to help you to be perceived as the quality brand. And as long as your products are good quality to match with those prices, then you are still going to be seen and perceived as a premium product. Now, this is where things like, for example, if you are a POD company, and I'm talking a lot about them today because of our Printify webinar yesterday. If you are a POD company, that means just using those mock-ups that you got from your POD service is probably not going to be enough. You're going to need to either change up those mock-ups, do your own mock-ups, change the background of your mock-ups, or order some sample products and take your own photos. We have an amazing student, Hannah from Distant Planet. You can find her on Instagram and on Etsy. She is a POD seller, and you would never know because almost all of her product photos, she orders her own samples and takes them herself, and they are beautiful. She is a fantastic example of how a POD shop can be perceived as a quality brand and not just seen as, oh, that's just another POD shop. So don't undersell yourself. Make sure that you are pricing at the top. Nobody wins when it comes to a race to the bottom. So don't be perceived as
unless you're a wheel.
Don't be perceived as the junky option, okay? Because that can turn customers off, especially in a marketplace that is unfortunately being saturated with a lot of junk, and we all see it. We all know that a lot of the things on Etsy are not actually handmade. So don't price yourself next to those people. I always hear people say, like, how can I compete with these Alibaba resellers? Don't. They're not your competitors. You're not competing with them.
Mm-mm.
All right. And lastly, after you have eliminated all of those things, demand, do you have, good product photos? Do you have enough product photos? Is your pricing aligned with your anchor? That's when you could say, well, maybe it's my Etsy SEO. Maybe I'm not using the right keywords. And yesterday's Printify webinar is a brilliant walkthrough of how to find good keywords. What I personally use is like my benchmark to identify good keywords. But really, SEO is all about testing and experimenting. There is no way for anybody to look at your SEO and say, yeah, that's good. Your SEO is good. And if you guys I'm sure that you guys have gotten them on Instagram and on Etsy, those random messages of someone who says, I have looked at your SEO and it looks like it could use some improvements. Don't just put all those messages in spam. No one can look at your SEO and tell you if it's good or not without first doing keyword research and then second testing those keywords over that period of, 4-ish months in order to gauge how those keywords work for you. And there are too many factors for things like anecdotal evidence. For example, like if a shop says, I did this, therefore, if you do this, you'll also be successful. There are too many factors that influence individual shops for those unique factors to be transferable to you. You could go to the biggest seller on Etsy, copy everything that they're doing, copy all of their keywords, copy all of their photos, and basically make a carbon copy of their shop and still not perform at the level that they do. You would not perform right next to them, even if you're using the exact same keywords, because there's too many other factors that play into how listings rank, like your listing quality score, like your customer and marketplace experience score, things like how long you've been selling, how many past sales you've had, what your good standing with Etsy is, if you've ever had a case against your shop, if you've ever had a copyright infringement. All of these things impact where your listings get placed and how you perform in search. So just be wary when it comes to random Etsy SEO advice. For those who are new here, Mark and I are managers over at erank.com, which is Etsy's most popular SEO tool. And we hear these horror stories all the time of, this Etsy SEO expert messaged me and I paid them to edit all my listings and now my stats are tanking. Well, yeah, your stats are tanking because they went and they tweaked all of your listings. That goes against everything that we teach. So, but guys, that's it. That's my order of operations in the exact order that I recommend if you need to diagnose an issue with your listings. Sometimes it's easier to experiment with a thumbnail. Swap out a picture. If you've got, 5 photos in your listings and your listing isn't selling, whatever you've got as your thumbnail, swap it with your second photo. Just switch them around. And
switch them around. Try
that for a little while. See if that second photo boosts those sales up. There are so many weird little factors that play in. Back when I sold jewelry, I had this best-selling owl skeleton key necklace where the buyer could choose what gemstone they wanted the owl's eyes to be, like little crystal eyes. And I listed it for Halloween and I used topaz stones as the eyes in my thumbnail, thinking, okay, fall colors, that'll be cool. That listing did not sell all through fall. And I kept thinking, what is wrong? Why is no one buying this? And I had all the color options that they could choose listed right on the thumbnail. They could see all of their options, but they still weren't buying it. So then I went in and had almost an identical thumbnail, but I changed those topaz crystals in the eyes to blue, to aquamarine. Even though aquamarine had always been an option and they could see that it was always an option, it started selling right when I changed the thumbnails and became a bestseller. So just like I said, you never know what is going to connect with your shoppers. You never know what photo is going to do well. And the only way to know is to experiment and test, and don't be afraid to swap out photos, because those don't have an impact on your rank. Even on bestsellers, you can play with your thumbnails a little bit. So, all right.
Did you guys see the other wolf-themed Etsy course? No, I did not. But if you want to, maybe don't say the name here. Maybe email us with it.
Yeah, Starla at handmadealphaacademy.com.
I'm always open to make sure nobody's committing, like,
copyright infringement. Yeah, feel free to shoot it our way. I mean, we don't have a monopoly on wolf.
No, not at all. I just want to make sure nobody's stealing our content, because it would not actually be the first time.
Oh yeah, we did have someone steal our content before.
Yeah. I don't like being the aggressive toss threats out guy, but it would not be the first time.
Oh yeah. All right.
Etsy asked me if I wanted to give people who favorited an item a discount. Same with the abandoned cart items. Will Etsy send out the discount information?
Yes,
it's an automated thing.
Yes, they will send it out to people who have opted into Etsy's marketing. So feel free to set those up. There's no disadvantage to it as long as you've priced high enough to accommodate discounts.
These are old.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm just going to the very... Is it slow for wedding decor? Shouldn't this time be prime for those items? Sometimes yes and no.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of different factors that can impact sales. Don't just assume that you can set your listings and forget them, though. Wedding season is summertime typically, but we also see weddings take off in the fall as well. So yeah, just start looking at your competitors. You can actually track them over in the competitor tracking tools on eRank. See what your competitors are doing and if they're making sales right now.
Ain't that social media platform? I don't know what.
Instagram probably.
Instagram. They just let someone hack my account and I can't talk to a real human to fix it. Okay, so a couple things. Companies don't let anyone hack your account. That's not a thing. The majority of times when your account gets hacked, it's one of two things. Either you had a membership to a website whose network security wasn't super great, and a list of usernames and passwords get leaked, which happens all the time, but Google has, there's all kind of services you can Google for. Has my password been leaked or whatever?
Google has a built-in one now.
Or you opened a file, went to a sketchy website and signed up for an account using the same username password. The majority of the time, it's the user's fault. You probably clicked on a file, somebody sent you, or a link on Facebook or something like that. However, for those of you who don't use it, two-factor authentication prevents like 99% of account infiltrations because they require your phone, your actual physical phone, to log into your account. So always be safe.
When it comes to internet security, ask the data analysis dude. Data analyst. That's the word I'm looking for. Analyst.
The analyst. Yeah. I'm non-liberal, so stick that in reply. And we're not either, which is the weird thing when people come on and say stuff like that. Like, we're not on either of those politicals. Anyway, is there a camera you would recommend? Yep. Her course recommends your phone.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah. Christina Nicole, I mean, for product photography, your phone is probably enough. As long as you have bought a new phone in the last, 5 years, I would say. Our Google Pixels were like 5 years ago. They had great
They were fine.
cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you have bought a phone in the last 5 years, your camera is probably fine. As long as you're not using like one of those like track phones.
Most like medium tier DSLR cameras are like between 10 and 25 megapixels, and like this is 110.
Yeah.
Like, and most of them come with between like 5 and 15. I think the new iPhones are 13 megapixel, something like that. It's more about the software really than the sensor itself a lot of the times. I believe Etsy stated they consider a listing complete if it has at least 5 photos, though. Yeah, we used to recommend having at least 5, but try to fill out 10. But
I have not. Yes, they might consider a listing complete, but there is no algorithmic benefit there unless you can email me an official source. If you can email me something direct from Etsy, absolutely please do that. But I do not believe that there is anything in the algorithm that is counting how many photos you have in order to rank you higher.
Thank you for saying be artistic. That's what Etsy's for. You solved my problems and inspired me. That's keep Etsy human is one of the things that Etsy preaches, and I'm very big about that. I'm not referring to ethically sourced AI art. I'm actually for that. Hot take. But staying artistic is also something that I really believe in, because we get a lot of emails from people who say, you know, my stuff's not selling. Here's my shop. And it's like the exact same designs and shirts and ideas and things that, like, if I were to search, there's 1,000 other people with like the same font, the same design on the same shirt. And you know, why isn't my product selling? It's because 500 people sold it before you.
Right.
And I'm huge for artistic expression. I've been a musician my entire life. She's been an artist her entire life. Art is important to me, and Etsy is a platform that allows people who care about their art to express it. Now, not everybody can be an amazing, like, 6-figure seller. There's a glass ceiling on some industries. We understand that, but it irks me when people don't put even the minimal amount of effort into just being art. You can take an idea that somebody else has done, be artistic about it, and put it in your own words, or put it in your own design, or do something different with it.
Yeah.
Just be different. Be you.
I can't, and no offense to anybody who has them in their, no offense to anybody who has them in their shop, but man, if I have to see one more shirt that says Mama Bear on Etsy.
Yeah, and like, again, no offense to anybody that sells it. You're passionate about that, and that's totally fine. But saturating a niche, being in a saturated niche means you're in a saturated niche. So if you're going to do that, you should at least do it different than the saturated part of the niche.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You can do the same thing, just do it different. Every restaurant's the same thing with different food, right? Pencil vending machine. Why didn't I have that in school? I know they were great. We had them for
notebooks.
We had them for notebooks too, where they would, like, you'd push the thing in and then you had to, like, yank it out, and then a big notebook would come out with it.
You had to pull it really hard.
Yeah, get both hands on there.
I wouldn't pay anything.
Me neither.
Or pencil. I'd give you $2 for it. Yeah, I love how you all are feeling bad for the pencil.
Don't feel bad for the pencil. If it's Starless pencil, it's worth more. It's not worth that much.
Oh, you guys are going to be like digging through my trash trying to sell my...
That was a joke on me, but that's fine.
My used tissues.
You were talking about Jason Momoa pencils. Oh. I heard Jason Momoa has a little pencil. I sold a pencil for $5. It was a vintage Tycon. You made that up.
No, that's the name of the brand that Tyler has to have.
I know.
$5.
I'm tired, so I'm giving people crap. In the eRank keyword tool, digital and physical are bundled together, so it's sometimes hard to get a good idea of pricing. Any ideas on how to refine the search to just get physical? No, because you don't want us trying to decide what is physical and what is digital, because we won't get it right, and neither would most people.
Yeah. Okay. So, I
don't think there's a way to do it, and somebody can correct me, but I don't think that we can, because I think on Etsy you can, but I don't think we pull data like that. Call me out if I'm wrong. I might just be being stupid because I didn't get enough sleep.
Yeah, Jessica, I mean, it's something that would absolutely be useful. Let me talk to Anthony, but we'll have to...
That's more that we have to pull from the API, and anytime we pull anything new, it slows the website down more.
Because then it would have to not only... Because that data comes from a different location. That's third party. Then there's the Etsy API, and it's almost like the third party data would have to run through the Etsy API.
Yeah, we would have to at the same time that you did a search, take all of the search things we're going to return to you,
run it through the API,
return it, and have it as a. There's no way that's going to happen.
I don't think that's possible.
There's no way that's going to happen.
I'll talk to Anthony about it, but in my head,
he's probably going to say exactly what I just said.
It would be hard.
There are ways to price accordingly for shipped items. I'd suggest if you're selling products, get a scale, have an idea of zones. Yeah, absolutely.
Annette above there.
Why do I have an item that get favorites several times a week, but then doesn't get as many sales? I feel like people like it, but aren't buying. It's a 90s rainbow dog tumbler for $25 with $10 shipping.
Well, I would attempt to loop that shipping price into your overall product cost.
$10 is a lot to ship a cup.
Yeah, but if they saw that it was a $35 cup, especially for a tumbler, if you're one of those super cool tumbler makers, that feels a little bit more realistic. And then you could offer the free shipping for it, $35 on the price of the tumbler. You could experiment with that, experiment with your thumbnail photos, everything that we talked about today. And keep in mind, people do favorite, and that who don't intend to buy, they favorite things just because they think that they're pretty. Don't get super caught up in favorites. Yes. It's not really a metric that's going to count for anything.
Nah.
It's a good indication that somebody found your products organically in search. That's a good thing. But, start shifting around some other factors like your pricing with shipping included, like your thumbnail photos. And then you can do a slow process of elimination. Just make sure that you're not experimenting with all those things at the same time. Otherwise, you won't know what worked in that experiment.
Yeah. Handmade can't compete with CNC made, so don't try. I don't think it's that they can't compete. I think it's that they shouldn't compete because they're two totally different things. Mm-hmm. Unless somebody sands and purposefully makes something CNC cut look handmade, I can almost immediately tell the difference between something that was cut in a CNC versus something that was hand cut and sanded and painted and all that fun stuff. Cases count, even buyer protection cases for lost in shipping orders.
I don't think, and I can't speak from anything other than speculation here, but I'm going to assume that when it comes to the purchase protection program, if the tracking shows that the item was lost or it was marked as delivered, as long as those cases are ruled in your favor, I would not think that those would have a negative impact on your shop. However, general cases against your shop absolutely do have an impact on your overall customer and marketplace experience score, which can contribute to your rank in search.
What about the new store suspension? Do you know if that counts against you?
Not if you get reactivated because you were suspended in error. Most new stores do get suspended immediately when they join.
Error.
Yeah, immediately when they join Etsy. It has been a thing for...
AKA, they have a glitch in their system that suspends new shops based on probably things that they're supposed to suspend existing shops off of. Mm-hmm. And those, because the new shops are new, they probably fit into a category that makes the system go, nope, but they refuse to remove the other policy because shareholders. Yeah,
but in terms of once you get reinstated, I'm going to assume that it probably doesn't have any impact because it's their error, right?
So many posts about getting put on reserve with no claims of with claims of not violating any rules. Is there any official or thoughts on this? It's mixed, to be honest with you, because I see it quite a bit. I'd say it's about 50-50 people saying that they didn't do anything wrong that are wrong and they did do something wrong. And then 50-50 the other side being people who legitimately didn't do anything wrong, at least as far as I can tell. Thing is, if you sold something 10 years ago with a Mickey Mouse on it, they can still punish you for that. I don't know. There are random things that people get slapped for.
Payment reserve isn't to do with copyright. Payment reserve is like if you've got too many.
I was just generalizing.
Right.
But you could have made a mistake before and then the system catches it way later and then...
I don't have anything official on it. I am kind of keeping track of it right now, but I don't have anything of value that I can share as of right now. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on the situation. It's really hard because a lot of people say that they didn't do anything to trigger it, but then I can't dive any deeper because I don't know for sure that they didn't do anything to trigger it. So
if one is managing a resale store, shouldn't they use the lower price strategy? I mean, you got to consider we're giving generalized advice. A resale store is a unique, specific instance of a store.
Wait, resale store? You shouldn't be doing a resale store.
Unless you're talking about vintage, right? Because vintage would be a resale. But resale is not allowed on Etsy unless you're talking about vintage.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah. So you would have to be a little bit more specific about your question. Because we are talking about Etsy specifically right now. We're not talking about like a brick and mortar store or something like that.
Yeah, there are people who don't understand the CNC thing, so they think handmade is overpriced. Yeah, no, wholeheartedly, I think CNC stuff should be sold for a fraction of what real hand, unless it's something really unique that required a lot of effort on the. Because I've seen really cool geometric stuff, like 3-dimensional geometric stuff, that still took quite a bit of like hand piecing together to make it an actual piece of art. That I could see paying a lot of money for, but yeah. So I made price templates for small business owners. I didn't get any sales while my competitors getting sales for the same product. Why is that so? I started my Etsy shop a month ago. You've only been around for a month.
Yeah. That you are a new fish, and you are trying to compete with big fish who have listing quality scores, who are ranking higher than you. Just because you make the same thing does not mean that you automatically get the same sales that they do. That's not how that works. You have to build good rapport. You need to kind of play the game a little bit longer. You're going to have to do a little bit of your own marketing. You've got to make sure that your SEO is good. There are so many factors that could be contributing to why you're not making sales right now. But don't look at them and think that because they're making so many sales that you should be getting the same amount. You have to do your due diligence and make sure that your SEO is good, make sure that you're marketing yourself, and expect it to take a while. 1 month is not a long time. You're not going to make 100 sales in a month unless you've got a completely unique product or a, unique USP, unique sales proposition. You've got to have, a little bit of patience, especially when we're talking about the slowest season of the year on Etsy. And then also considering, what are they doing to make as many sales as they are? Do they have a big social media audience? Do they have great SEO? Do they have like a Facebook group where they do little like launch parties? What is it that is driving their sales? How long have they been around? If they've been around since 2011, yeah, they've got a great rapport in their niche, and Etsy is more likely to recommend them over you. So this is where that whole demand thing comes into play.
And welcome to all of you new Printify people.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of you here because we are at a record for our live streams at almost 400 people. So welcome.
Rad.
Make sure you subscribe, stick around. We do these literally every Friday, and she uploads a video every Tuesday. We will be answering questions until 1:30. We typically have a topic for a half hour to an hour, and then we answer questions and we hard cut at 1:30.
Yeah.
And then we just goof off for a few minutes till we hop off.
And if you guys have questions about my coaching program, Handmade Alpha Academy,
feel free to drop them.
That will be opening on June 14th. It makes them easier to find if you put a wolf emoji next to them. But we would, prefer to answer those here rather than via email. So feel free to shoot some of those in the chat as well.
We like to make sure that our pure intentions are coming off pure. Hard to express that we like to be pure.
Pure.
At least when the camera's on.
Yeah, goodest good boy intentions.
Goodest good boy. And then I'm the baddest bad boy when the camera's off. When you make a coupon, how many times can one person use it, or can people misuse them?
Okay, so I don't like the word misuse. If you're going to offer a coupon, yes,
a coupon.
They can use it as many times as they want.
Yes.
But if you can't afford them to misuse it, then you shouldn't offer a coupon that
You
steep.
can cut the coupon off though, but you can't do it per person. You just have to cut off the use of the coupon, right?
So here's my thought. If someone is willing to come back to your store to buy again and again and again because they think that they're getting away with it by using this special coupon, let them think that they're getting away with it, because who's winning in the end? You are. My biggest customer, she goes down in history. I made over $10,000 from this one customer, because for the 10 years that I ran my very first business, she came back and used her one-time use coupon over and over again. Who was $10,000 richer? I was. She thought that she was, we were friends, we were buddies, because she bought from me since I started my business and she was supporting me, but she always used her little, new subscriber coupon. Make sure that you're pricing in a way that accommodates any coupons that you plan to offer in the future. That's why, once again, pricing in that top 10% gives you wiggle room so that you can offer steep discounts occasionally. Maybe it's a VIP discount when they join your email list. Maybe it's like a holiday sale. Don't see it as a bad thing. If they think that they're getting away with it, but they're willing to come back over and over and over again, that's a good thing, because 20% of your sales on, I'm sorry, 80% of your sales on Etsy should come from 20% of your customers.
Yes.
80% of your sales come from 20% of your customers. That means that it's really important to get repeat buyers in your shop because they're the ones who are going to spend more money. We want to think about the LTV of your customers, the lifetime value of every customer. It is way harder to find a brand new person and bring them into your shop and build that trust and convince them to make a purchase from you than it is to have somebody who's already ordered from you in the past and who already enjoys your products come back to buy again. That is way easier because they're already convinced. They already are, attached to your brand and they already know what to expect. They're more likely to come back and shop again as opposed to trying to find a completely new audience. And yes, this is harder for industries like weddings and things. But in most cases, repeat sales are going to be the most important thing.
I do want to elaborate on the make sure you set your prices for your coupons. Absolutely do not raise your prices for the sake of holding a sale or doing coupons because that is actually against the law in the United States.
Yes.
We mean when you're initially pricing your products, make sure that you're including the fact that you're probably going to hold some sales. All of your competitors are going to be doing the same thing, price within the top 10% of your industry. That's always the rule. Your competitors are doing the same thing. And if you can't afford to do that, you probably either need to find better sources for your products because you're paying too much, or you need to adjust yours to fit. Yep. Anyway, how do you deal with copycat? When you designed on your own one-of-a-kind product design and it's a top seller product, do you contact that person?
Etsy tells you that you should first contact them and ask them to stop.
That's a general business thing to do anyway. You ask them to stop first.
Yep. Say, hey, I know what you're doing. This is really upsetting to me. If you do not stop selling this product, I'm going to seek support from Etsy. Then your next step is to reach out to Etsy and let them know. If Etsy doesn't do anything, your third step is to contact a lawyer.
Yep.
That's the 3 order of operations for dealing with a copycat. Contact the person and ask them to stop.
Yes.
If they don't stop, contact Etsy. If Etsy doesn't help you, contact a lawyer.
Yes. Sorry, I was reading a comment. It's unfortunate because it's one of those things where you don't want to think about because obviously like this whole platform is big. It's art, right? You're like, I just want to get on here and be an artist, but the very first thing you are when you're doing something here is a business.
Yes.
So unfortunately, you're going to run into situations where things might get a little shady. Now, is it worth it to take on, say you're an experienced seller and somebody pops up and starts selling something that you made one of a kind? I would review whether or not that person's actually a competitor or whether or not they will become a competitor. We had it happen several times. And they were people who, and it sounds crappy, but they were nowhere near as good as what we did and what we do.
Copycats aren't going to be as good as you.
But that's not always necessarily true.
Yeah.
Some of them might steal your designs and be better at marketing, be better at selling things, be better at communication, be better at social media. They might already have a viral following somewhere. There is a chance they're better than you. And if that's the case, you might actually have to take legal action. So just remember that you're first and foremost, you're running a business and you start at the bottom. You start by messaging them. Keep every bit of, reach out through the proper channels, reach out through Etsy directly.
Polite.
Don't reach out to their email, follow the right channels, be polite. Don't say anything incriminating. Because all of that's going to be something that you're going to have to use if it does eventually make its way to court.
Yep. And then, you get that cease and desist, like Tina said, cease and desist notice. And, sometimes that's enough to scare them.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes a cease and desist is more than enough. Having having somebody show up at your house to deliver an official form directly to you that says stop or I'll sue you is pretty scary.
Yeah, that's enough to make somebody poop their pants.
We've had to do that.
Yeah.
With thumbnails, do you think different looking mock-ups for each item are important? We use place it and are back and forth with consistency versus too much of the same / fake.
Well, what's going to work? You've got to test what's going to work for you. I think that consistency, especially when we look at the top selling shops on Etsy, they all have very consistent looking backgrounds, but that does not mean that they are the exact same background. It is a similar aesthetic. They have the same vibe. They have the same general color palette. So I do think that is important in terms of building brand perception around a certain aesthetic and image, which can help you to look less, generic and fake. especially when you're looking at all of the other shops that use identical place-it mock-ups without actually doing any alterations or making them stand out at all. But really, when it comes to any industry, I always recommend testing and experimenting, because if you're not seeing the results that you are from just using those raw place-it mock-ups with no alterations, might be time to spice things up a little bit.
Do you have any videos on how to set up collections, or is that just for HAA?
We had like some really old collection launch videos, but collection launching is a very long process, and that is primarily what we teach in HAA, is building up viral marketing and a marketing timeline and following through with your marketing timeline, knowing exactly what to do at all times for your business, knowing when to market what, when to start creating products, when to launch those products, what to do after you launch those products, when to start making new products. That is the ecosystem of HAA, with the psychology and everything built into that foundation.
Might be time for a quick spiel on what HAA is, if you want to take 2 minutes to do so, since we're at 400 people.
Handmade Alpha Academy is opening on June 14th. It is a self-paced Etsy coaching program that will teach you A to Z how to build, market, and grow a dominant brand on Etsy. I hold your hand every step of the way. It's self-paced. There's no weird like 9 a.m. Zoom meetings. I ain't awake that early anyway.
No, except for today.
Except for today, because they called us. But it is a phenomenal program with over 1,000 students. Any students that are in the chat right now can vouch for it.
We really haven't ever had any negative feedback.
You get support, you get 12 months of eRank Pro, you get the Product Photography Essentials Workshop, you get annual access to our Alpha Holiday Boot Camp in the fall. Yeah, and we'll play our little video at the end. But if you got questions about it, we only open it from June 14th to the 24th for registration. You don't have to start in that period if you don't want to. You can start at any time, but it's just Mark and I. We don't have any employees. So
and again, for all you new people here, that did start as a strategy to get people in, and it became a godsend for us, because it's really hard to manage when you're getting like 100 to 200 new students per enrollment when you actually are trying to like be involved. We had 186 for our last launch. It's a lot of people.
we have to be able to keep up with you guys. Otherwise, we'll have to hire help. And I know that you guys don't want to work with customer service representatives. You want to work with us.
But enough. We don't like to be salesy and stuff, but we do like to. That's how we eat, right? Question about eRank: is under 10 grand a good competition to jump into a niche, or more like 2 grand? So 2,000. Under 10,000 good competition to jump into a niche, or under 2,000?
That's not really. That's okay. You're looking at this wrong. I would not decide on a niche based on what I'm seeing in the competition levels within the keyword tool. That's not how I would decide on a niche. First of all, that's just the competition for that specific keyword, not any associated keywords. Second of all, competition is good because competition tells you demand. More competition likely means that there is more demand for that product. You just have to be a little bit unique with that type of product. I would dare say that you're not really utilizing that tool correctly. That is just for keywords usage in your listings. Yeah, if you're listing another mama bear shirt, maybe that would be a good indicator that that's not a good niche to get into. But I've never personally used the keyword tool in that way. Even as a manager at eRank, I have not used the keyword tool in that way. I would choose a niche that you are passionate about. I would choose a niche based on the people that you most want to sell to and the people that you most want to build a business around. If you absolutely love dogs, make a business about all the different dog breeds and dog moms and all the maybe gifts for groomers and vet techs. Make a brand about that because you love dogs. If you hate dogs, don't make dog products. Make cat products,
Yeah, first and foremost, make what you're passionate about, because if you start making money on it and you get bored, it really sucks.
Yeah.
It really sucks.
Yeah, I know that there's always people who want to jump into a niche just based on demand, and that's fine if your objective is just money, 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 money. But here's the problem.
You're going to get real bored.
You can make more money on Etsy by building a niche that you can be proud of because you're actually passionate about it and you're able to maintain the marketing that is necessary to have a six-figure business.
That's the main thing that's gonna suck for you, especially getting into an industry that you don't care for. Social media is going to be harder for you. Being the face of your company is going to be harder for you. Making the emails and the posts and everything else is harder for you. It sucks. Do something that you like. Start with something that you like and figure out what you like's niche is.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
There's 2 HAA questions.
It's mostly people asking how much it is.
Oh.
It is $997 one time. It is do it at your own pace, the entire thing, just like going to a YouTube channel and watching it, but private. It can't be shared anywhere.
No buts, not but private.
No
private.
but.
There's no butt in it.
I mean, if you pay me $1,000, I'll send you my butt. Or we have a 6-month payment plan. It's $199 per month for 6 months, and if you pay it off prior to September 1st, I will cut off the final payment, and it will just be that.
But it also includes 12 months of eRank, which is normally $120 that we pay for you. You get access to our Alpha Holiday Bootcamp, which is normally $120. That's included every year. So forever, every year it's normally $120, but you get it free every year. You get access to the Product Photography Essentials Workshop by Christina Nicole that is normally $197. So you get a lot of extra things. Plus, you also get the ability to email Mark and I with questions anytime you need help. So
yeah, pretty much any time, and it's usually within a couple of days.
And the crazy Valeria said, will each shot be critiqued? No, that's not what Handmade Alpha Academy is.
No, that's not what we do.
That's not what it is.
If you need a critique after you completely finish the course.
Well, let me talk.
Yeah.
So with, I get this question a lot. HAA is not a big thing where we get together and do shop critiques. If that's what you want, I do those for free on my channel. Okay. What HAA is it is a step-by-step roadmap for you to work on your shop on a psychological level and on a scientific level, where we're talking about, you know, your SEO and things. There are 2 sides to this equation, the psychology part and the data part. When you go into HAA, critiquing your shop at that point would be like me walking into your unfinished house where you've got, like, you know, some support pillars up. I can't critique that. If I'm like an interior designer, I can't walk in there and critique the aesthetic of your house when your house isn't even built yet. That would be impossible. However, if you get entirely through the program and you need a critique at that point, I'm happy to give one. We've never had anyone really ask for that. But what I do provide is, as you're working through the program, if you need help along the way, hey, I'm to the part where I'm working on, you know, color psychology, and I'm establishing my brand a little bit, and here's my brand aesthetic. What do you think about this part? I am happy to go in and say, yes, that looks phenomenal. Your branding is spot on. But I am not going to be able to provide 200 people with individual shop critiques. It's impossible. There's no way that I could possibly do that. That's not what HAA is. So
Elosty said, please see my HAA question above, but I don't see a question from you. I don't actually see a question from you about HAA.
Yeah, feel free to resubmit it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the chat. It might have disappeared.
Okay.
I actually see a message retracted part from you.
Yeah.
Would it make a sense? Would it make a sense? I've been doing that voice too much. To give a free digital product if someone buys something. I guess you would have to send it from your own desktop.
You could if you wanted to.
You're not really supposed to email someone off of Etsy without their consent, though.
Yeah, if there's no way to, if you could send it through Etsy, that would be one thing, but you're not, I mean, you could email them or message them on Etsy and say, hey, you know, I offer a free digital product. If you would like to give me your email, I can email it to you, but you need to ask for permission first. You can't just unsolicited emails are not allowed. So just ask them first if they would like the free digital product.
My shop took a nosedive for the 1st of June. Normally I make daily sales. Seems like something's up. My SEO is in good standings. I understand the summer's slow, but this is Zippo.
Yeah, I'm hearing this a lot right now. You'd say normally I make daily sales. but there hasn't been anything that has happened with the algorithm. We keep hearing that a lot. Right now,
as far as we know.
Well, right now, there is a lot going on in the world. Bad economy, upcoming election, war in Ukraine. There are high gas prices, high grocery prices, high cost.
Canada's on fire.
Canada's on fire. There are a lot of factors right now that when it comes to, politics aside, when it comes to how people spend their money, these are the things that people tend to pull back on spending. Every year that there is a U.S. election, every 4 years, we see a dip like this as well. So it's just important to not, when I say like, don't read the chicken bones, don't look for messages in your alphabet soup. Don't look for signals that aren't actually there. Sometimes it's something completely unrelated. And I believe that a poor economy is primarily the reason why we're seeing sales on Etsy especially slow this season.
Velocity, I'm still not seeing your question if you did ask it. If you're saying something like Instagram or something like that in it, it won't show up.
Yeah, feel free to resubmit it though.
Yeah. What do you think about using one of the listing photos, reminding the customer to follow the shop, or would you prefer to replace that with a link tree for an email list?
You could either.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, either's fine. Just make sure that link is short and easy to remember, because nobody's going to sit and type in a big long URL. You could buy a domain redirect URL, which would be a lot, easier, or add a QR code. That's always an option. Okay,
there it is. I learned, Eve, you teach on your channel, which is a lot. What else do you teach on HAA? Could you please be specific and go into details above what you usually say?
Handmade Alpha Academy is content that's unique to HAA. That is not content that you're going to get on YouTube. We go into the psychology of building your marketing presence, the aesthetics of your brand. I'm actually going to be sending out a class curriculum guide to everybody probably sometime this weekend. If you guys are on my email list, you'll get it. That gives an overview. But Handmade Alpha Academy content is completely unique to the program because I tell you exactly what to do. Here on my YouTube channel, I'm giving you general strategies. I'm giving you general, how to use eRank. I'm giving you general tips on marketing. In HAA, you are getting a step-by-step. This is what you need to do every single day. You wake up in the morning, you know exactly what you need to do that day. That is in a nutshell what HAA is. But if you want a little bit more detail about what is taught in the program, go to joinhaa.com. I do have a brief analysis of that page. And if you sign up,
I posted the link in the chat.
If you sign up on that page, there's like a place to enter your email. That doesn't obligate you to buy it. But when I send out the curriculum on sometime this weekend with the overview, you guys will get that. So if you're on that list, you'll get that curriculum sheet, and that'll kind of give you an overview of like a roadmap of everything that's contained within the course and what you'll be learning. That's something new that I'm doing this year as I'm sending out that curriculum for them.
I've decided to restart Pinterest because I do digital art and I show craft DIY, but it confused me on using tags. Do you have any info on it, or proper YouTuber or coach that knows Pinterest?
Pinterest because I do digital art.
Using keywords on Pinterest.
So I recommend going to Pinterest's official Pinterest Academy. They have a Pinterest Academy that it mainly promotes how to use their ad system, which I don't use. But if you kind of skim through all the ad stuff where they're just promoting their ad program and you focus on the type of content in their ads that perform well, you can actually learn a lot about it. So I recommend checking that out because it's free. I took it a couple weeks ago and I thought it was pretty well done for a free resource. I am not the best at Pinterest strategy though. It's not my wheelhouse. Instagram is more my style. I do have like a Pinterest basics video on my channel, but for the most part, I'm probably not the expert that you're looking for Pinterest. But they, like I said, their academy is free.
Mm-hmm. Does star seller status improve your visibility? Does Etsy push those sellers' listings higher?
No, not as of right now. Star seller has no impact on your search ranking.
It is June 9th, 2023. Those of you in the future who are going to get on here and comment 5 years from now and say, yes, it does. This is in 2023.
Yes, as of right now, it doesn't. And they have not said that it will, but we never know what the future will hold.
What would you say a good general growth in sales would be from year to year, especially after pandemic years as we go into normalcy on the platform? That's going to be hard to say because we're not in normalcy on the platform and we've never seen it before.
Yeah.
So
there is no way to say what would be good growth.
Prior to COVID, if you would have asked me and I could go and look at like what the data looked like up until now, after all the big changes they made, especially during COVID, maybe I could have told you, but with COVID threw everything kind of wacky and it's been abnormal ever since. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's I think that anything that you can do better than what you did last year is good growth because the platform is still kind of regulating right now.
There was their question. It's because we are this far up in the chat.
Got it.
Yeah. Is everything in HA pre-recorded or are those also live events? We kind of covered that, but yes, HA is all pre-recorded, but she does hop into, we have a private Facebook group specifically just for students, which is honestly worth the money in and of itself because you get direct support from people within your industry, outside of your industry, all prior.
Tons of six-figure sellers.
Yeah, tons of six-figure sellers, some even higher than that. There's a ton of people in there and it's the most active right around the time when the course opens because obviously all the people join in, it kind of dies down. You can always get 2 or 3 responses at a minimum, even like way late into the season.
Yeah.
It's a great community of people.
Jennifer.
I have super niche down shop. I thought it was a good idea since this niche is part of my everyday life, but after opening, I realized it's not a highly searched topic. Is this a bad thing?
I mean, you could try to expand upon that niche a little bit. That's always a possibility. But I mean, demand is demand. You've got to consider what people are actually searching for. And if the demand isn't on Etsy, you're probably going to have to drive a lot of your traffic if you're really passionate about that specific niche. If your niche is underwater basket weaving, there's probably not a lot of people on Etsy searching for underwater basket weaving. So you're going to have to go find out where the underwater basket weavers are. Maybe they're all on Instagram and you're going to have to do all your marketing there and build your audience there and then drive them to your Etsy shop, which is a possibility. There are tons of businesses that, they're in weird niches that aren't necessarily popular for the general Etsy shopper, but that have built huge communities on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, and then they drive that traffic to their shop. So it is a possibility, but you're going to have to do a lot more legwork.
What is the community like we're getting a ton of HA questions. We'll answer some HA questions maybe like right in the last couple of minutes.
Sure.
So we're not just, we lost 50 viewers talking about HA. So we're just, they're stinkers, but that's fine. They want to see what we're about and we're selling something to them. So we'll get HA questions towards the end. My first coach that I followed told me, don't be creative, just put gemstone jewelry on a gray background and just get rid of anything else. Yeah. For those of you who are new here, you'll learn real quick that we don't like most other coaches because they're crap. Jason Momoa without his facial hair. I know his body starts to matter a whole lot less when his beard's not there.
Oh, poor Jason.
He's a goofy goober looking fella. He's a cutie. It's fine. If Adula writes me a
hold on, Max. Hey Max, if you use the word Instagram in your comment, our YouTube doesn't allow the word Instagram. We're not deliberately skipping anybody. You just need to resubmit the question and not use the word Instagram in it if that was your question.
Yeah, and if we accidentally skipped over it, I mean, look through the chat. We've probably had over 1,000 comments on here. Sometimes.
We're doing our best, guys.
Sometimes things gets missed. I'm sitting in front of a computer screen going from comment to comment. I do them in order. I don't pick random questions.
Yeah, Max, just restate your question. And if don't use the word Instagram, a lot of people will say the word banana or pomegranate. Because
we don't skip anything unless it's like ignorant.
Yes.
If Adula writes me a public Etsy review saying that my product helps her tremendously in her business, can I write something along the lines of doula approved on my main listing photo?
Okay, you had one doula approve your product.
I mean, you're not lying, but just make sure that like I always like to make sure that I can back up what I say when it comes to like business stuff. So make sure that you can back it up and you're willing to defend yourself.
Get a couple
if somebody calls you out. Maybe get a couple more doulas in there.
Get a couple more doulas. You need to find a community of doulas.
You need a doublet full of doulas.
There are Facebook groups that are just full of doulas. Find a Facebook group of them and say, hey, check out my or send some of them for free as gifts, just to kind of help to, have them have more street cred for the doulas. I still don't see a question from Max. Did Max? Oh,
they said they used avocado and it didn't show up. I didn't see it. I'm sorry if I skipped it, but
yeah, feel free to resubmit it, Max.
we won't get to it at this point. It's too far down the chat.
I'll prioritize it if Max can toss it in there.
Is there any way to get better Etsy attribution data? I'm running ads, I'm getting buys, but I don't know what search terms are winning. I hope that makes sense. That's the game.
Well, you used to be able to know. If you had Google Analytics set up for your Etsy shop, you would know what was helping. But unfortunately, Google Analytics 4 is now the standard, and you can only connect a universal analytics to Etsy. So basically we've lost the ability to use Google Analytics. Google Analytics updated to a new version, Google Analytics 4. Etsy only accepts Universal Analytics, which is the old version.
And it dies in exactly a month, right?
Yes, Universal Analytics is going away on July 1st, which means that you are going to lose access to any Google Analytics data like the keywords that are bringing you traffic, which is really crappy. What we are encouraging sellers to do is contact Etsy on their professional platforms like Twitter and LinkedIn, comment on their posts, and politely ask that they prioritize the integration of Google Analytics 4 so that we do not lose this essential data. Bug them, because the more people who bug them politely, the more people who bug them, the more likely it is that they'll actually prioritize this.
Do you have any suggestions from your videos on YouTube that show how to use eRank properly?
Yeah, just go to my channel.
Search eRank.
Yeah, go to my channel. In fact, I did a video a couple weeks ago in my uploads that I think that the title was how to do Etsy SEO with eRank or something like that. But yeah, there's tons.
What's the optimal profit range for POD? There really isn't one. That's up for you to decide.
Yeah, price in the top 10% of your industry or whatever your niche is.
If my niche searches a lot with just broad single term, is it best for me to make a tag for that single word, or will I exact match my tag if it includes another word? Yeah, I mean, if somebody searches one word and that word's in your tags, you're exact matching that tag. Yeah,
even if there's more words contained within it. You're not just exact matching for that whole term. You're also exact matching the single terms that are in there. So don't just enter one word tags. If the word if it's like blue ceramic mug as a tag, you are going to exact match for blue ceramic and mug and blue ceramic and ceramic mug, as long as they are next to each other.
So there's a beta program where you can see what search phrase was put in the Etsy search where people saw your listings. I have it on my Etsy, but because it's in beta, not everyone has it.
Search Analytics beta has been around for like 2 years now. Most people do have it. They just call it beta for some reason because I guess they haven't finished it.
Because it's imperfect. They won't call it not a beta till it is.
It's not very good. It's not very good. And we can see that when we compare it with our Google Analytics data. You can learn from it. You can get a decent idea, but
data's data. Any data is good if you know how to use it right.
Google Analytics was a lot better though.
I agree. Should you remove products if they never sell?
I would try to do some of the things that we talked about at the beginning of this video. Watch the replay, go through that order of operations that I talk about in order to see if there's anything that you could do to potentially boost the sales of that listing. But if even after that, those products still aren't selling, it's probably safe to remove them if it's, something that you don't want to keep around.
Keyword matching up will be tricky because the data is adjusted, ? For things like bot traffic. So it's not exactly apples to apples that you're comparing. Yeah. Coming from different data sources.
Got it. Yes.
Is it okay to say something is inspired by a specific artist or movie or brand if you don't specifically say no, it is not. Inspired by is not an excuse to sell.
No, that's not protection and it's still illegal. So that's like saying, if I call this crack cocaine magical powdered fun dip, is it okay? No.
Are we partying? What is this?
It's still not okay. It's still illegal. So just stay away from anything that you did not personally come up with unless it is in the public domain.
For instance, there was the company that was selling the rubber Jack Daniels shaped dog toy bottles. They were like Doberman themed or something. I can't remember. They just lost a lawsuit from Jack Daniels for using the bottle shape. Yep.
Wow.
One sure did.
Just for the shape of the bottle, because
it was the shape of the bottle, and I think the name that they had on the bottle was like one of the dogs that starts with Jack. I can't think of.
Jack Russell's.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway,
Jack Russell's.
Inspired by. My shop had a payment reserve when I opened it. I think the reserve was lifted after a year. I had only made one sale, so it may be shorter span if you're showing that you're legit. So if you're making more sales, they'll release it early, which I agree with. They probably will. Does the fact that I live in Mexico affect the visibility of my Etsy store and the sales in it?
Not necessarily, but you will be prioritized in Etsy search for other for shoppers who are in Mexico. So your locational data is important because people in search typically prefer to shop locally. So you will get a little bit of a higher ranking in search for people who are shopping from Mexico.
Why do so many people sell Disney designs or artwork, automotive logo shirts and designs? How come Etsy doesn't enforce copyright stuff? Because you in the United States cannot enforce copyright on behalf of someone else unless you are a representative of that person. And Etsy is not a representative of anyone other than Etsy, so they are not legally allowed to represent anyone other than Etsy.
Can you tell that we get this question a lot? The short answer is
fine.
It's not allowed. Just because your neighbor is in his basement doing drugs, it doesn't mean that you get to do drugs in your basement, and it doesn't mean that he's doing it legally.
Right, yeah.
Businesses get shut down all the time. Trust me, because we hear about it constantly.
Happens all the time. Even people that haven't done it for like 10, 15 years, like since the beginning of their Etsy shop 10 years ago.
Yeah, we're the first person that they message when they get shut down about it because they want to know how to get their shop back.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunately, there's nothing we can do for them. If you look on my channel, though, I've got 2 different videos about copyright, one of which is Disney suing a small handmade business. So definitely check those out because I go in depth about more copyright laws.
All right, I want to try to lightning round through some questions because we have a ridiculous amount.
That's fine.
How much marketing budget do you recommend to someone who just launched their Etsy shop? Same question, but now regarding to the investment per week. That is up to you. Invest what you can. Make sure that you're testing, keep it consistent long enough that you can test that data 30, 60, 90 days, good, solid, round numbers that it's easy to compare data for. Ads work for some people. They don't work for others. So yeah. Just made my first sale a minute ago. Store's 25 days old. Thanks for the advice and watching a bunch of your videos. Well,
congrats.
Glad that you're here. Quick question on handmade qualifications. If I source my cutting boards but engrave them myself, could I list them as handmade? And if not, does that hurt my estimate? I would probably get with Etsy on that because that's a specific thing. Yeah, you're modifying something, so technically, like you're making a thing, which is no different than like taking a stick and turning it into a piece of art, right?
Or crocheting a blanket out of some yarn.
Right, like it's in principle, I guess in principle it's not handmade, but in practice it's technically handmade. So I would get with Etsy to specify with that.
Yeah.
Does it make a difference how often I should release new products? I make a big release once a month or make weekly releases.
If they're not listed, they can't sell.
Yeah,
we have Handmade Alpha Academy. We teach a whole big spiel about doing product launches because they're more marketable. So if you want a more marketable business model, you can make some viral buzz around little launches once a month or little product launches once a month. But that also requires you to be willing to market your brand and not just rely on Etsy foot traffic.
Can I have multiple niches in one shop? You can, but shouldn't.
Yeah, you can.
Unless they're related.
You can, but most successful Etsy shops don't. I've got a video that I posted not last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before where I talk all about niches. So definitely go check that out.
Let's say you have a passion to a certain niche, but the data doesn't show that it's profitable. What do you do? We kind of talked about that earlier in the video. So. Yeah,
you can drive traffic externally from other platforms, but you will be doing all of the promoting of your brand and you will not be able to rely as much on Etsy SEO, unfortunately.
My products get found organically, but not a lot through search. I suppose people find them in suggestions based on recent activity. Thoughts on how this traffic works? Is it super user specific?
I would need a little bit more information about that. Just make sure that when you're looking at your Etsy stats, you're not looking at the Etsy marketing and SEO as a reference for your actual shop SEO and the keywords that you're using, because that is for Google SEO, and Google is almost impossible to rank your Etsy shop on Google. It's just too hard. You want to make sure that you're actually looking at traffic from Etsy search. But there are so many different ways that people find you. Unfortunately, now that we're losing Google Analytics, we're getting less information about how people have found you. Previously, I would have told you to connect your Google Analytics, but now we can't even do that. So.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're good to go ahead and get into the HAA questions. We just hit the 1:30 mark.
Yeah. Normally we log off right now, but I want to help you guys who are asking about HAA because it is opening on Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Yep.
Yes. If you guys have questions about my Etsy coaching program, Handmade Alpha Academy, It's only open for 10 days. It is self-paced, but feel free to go ahead and get those into the chat.
Enrollment is only open for 10 days.
Yes. You guys can take
You
it.
gotta elaborate on what you say.
Yes, you guys can take it any time that you want. You guys can start it any time that you want. It's
we
just
only accept new members for 10 days.
yes,
Because it's a lot of people very quickly.
yes.
And somebody had said that if you really value in all the free stuff that you get, it really only costs $400. It costs $1,000. I don't want anybody to get a misinterpretation based on what somebody said here, because somebody's like, wow, only $400, someone found a gold mine. No, it's $1,000, but you do get legitimately that much content that for free. There's a ton of stuff that you get for free along with it.
Absolutely.
Right, I'm gonna go through and stop. God, yeah, I hate that YouTube made that.
But and guys,
scan.
make sure that you check out the joinhaa.com landing page, because there is a lot of information about the program there. And if you're afraid that you'll miss it when it opens, just sign up with your name and email on that list. And I send an email right when we open. And I'm also going to be emailing out a PDF that includes the curriculum, which I've never done before. This is something new that I've created, but everybody who's on that list will get it. That way you can look over it and make an educated decision based on your business. It's also important to note that we have a 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. I know that there are a lot of coaches who like make you submit homework or prove that you tried.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that like hardly at all, did we? 30-day money back guaranteed.
No questions asked.
No matter what. You can just say, hey, this sucks. Give me my money back, and I will do it.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, not really. Be nice about it.
Yeah, be polite.
I do have it in my policy that I can tell you no, but I have never had to do that before. Just don't be that one.
That one mean person.
Don't be that one. I'll call you out publicly. Yes, it is $997. One time, lifetime access, our lifetime, not yours.
We're young though.
We're young,
We're
yeah.
young and spry.
I'm 32. I got at least 2 or 3 more years.
Oh, shut up.
You got to get that babushka. That's right. That's what the course is. That's what we're saving for. That's what we're going to spend all the Etsy money on. I'm going to hire me a babushka.
And somebody said I'll be traveling internationally at the time of enrollment period and won't have tons of internet access. Just making sure that the entire enrollment time will be open for us.
It's open the same amount of time for everybody else. If you're not going to have internet access during the entire enrollment period, message me and we can work something out. It's not that big of a deal.
14th
payment
through
plans,
the 24th.
Payment plans I cannot do after the fact because I shut our payment system down and it is handled internally through our website, and I'm not going to send you an invoice every month. So if it is after the enrollment period, you will have to pay the full price because it is a pain in the butt to get it to do any other way.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Have you maybe thought about hiring someone who is a member of the community, knows the industry, who acts as a customer service representative? We have, to an extent. HAA specific, probably not going to happen because it is a huge liability. So for HAA specific, no. For other stuff, yes, we have considered, but there are no open listings for that right now.
Oh, I'm considering having somebody help with our public inbox, not HAA students, just, random questions we get. But I've already got somebody selected for that. So.
And then somebody asked for landing pages. So I sent joinhaa.com. That's a good landing page. Tells you most about it. If you want the actual website.
Well, that's just got freebies on it. Handmadealphaacademy.com just has freebies right now.
Shh.
It's just free stuff.
Shh. Just free stuff. It didn't even go through anyway for whatever reason.
That's all right. They can get the free stuff.
Yeah. It is what it is. That was the one that you read. Are there any prerequisites for the course? Nope. I don't have E-Rank. We give you E-Rank for a year for free.
Yes.
Out of our pocket, we pay for that.
Would I need to buy that subscription and learn it? No, I teach you how to do that.
Yeah, we teach you how to use it within the course, and we give it to you for a year for free. As long as you actually email. There's so many people that don't email us and claim they're for E-Rank, which, fine, cool. That's a bunch of money I don't have to pay to Anthony.
But we're happy to do it.
I'm happy to do it.
Yes, it is included, and you do get to learn how to use it in Module 7. We cover SEO in depth. And then any other tools that aren't essential to the process of actual keyword optimization, those are tools I typically just cover here on my YouTube channel. There's lots of fun tools to play with on E-Rank. Not all of them are game changers for your business though. So I cover a lot of that here.
Connie said, I keep sending my resume. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that an unsolicited picture of your sausage is not a resume.
Yeah, Johnny.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you that. Okay, that was the...
Johnny's an HAA student, but he's our snarkiest
He's a sassy little fart.
A sassy little fart.
If you critique an HAA student shop, we've never had to. And notice they're breaking Etsy's rules. Do we report them? No, because we are not the copyright holders. However, we really will not support people that directly infringe copyright. That will be our primary first thing that we say is you're selling copyright material. Because it's a liability for us to directly tell someone who is selling, like, we cannot legally support someone who is selling copyright material, right? Like, that puts us in a position where we are teaching someone breaking the law. That makes us associated with someone breaking the law, which makes us break the law. Yeah. So if we look at a shop and somebody says, yeah, help my shop, and it's full of copyright stuff, I have to, all I can legally say is no.
Yeah, I usually just, if I see a seller who joins HAA, I just try to
ignore it.
No, if they're in HAA, I try to push them down the right path.
No, she does.
Yeah, I give you the gentle nudge and, make sure that you're trying to.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's none of my business what they do.
Yeah.
Does HAA cover things like finding new product ideas to make?
Yes, based on your niche, we will dive more into your target customer, the gaps in the marketplace, and things that they need, problems that they might be experiencing, things that would be of interest to them. That way you can start making educated decisions as to what you should add to your shop that's already going to complement the brand that you are building.
What is the community like in the HAA Facebook group? It is absolutely wonderful, and we have had more than probably 10, 15 people say that the Facebook group was worth $1,000 on its own. And that's not just me talking up something because I like money. It really is. We get testimonials just based on the Facebook group.
They are our Facebook community is absolutely awesome. We have over 1,000 students in there. They are so helpful. A lot of them, like Dulcie in the chat, Tina, she is in there all the time answering questions and helping people. It is just warm and welcoming. And we're very, very strict about like making sure that there's no bullying.
Oh yeah, no. If you're a stinker, you're gone.
No stinkers allowed.
Is HAA for someone who sells as a hobby versus income? I'm depending on for paying bills. To be clear, I'm in no way evading taxes. I'm just trying to... Are you sure? Are you sure you're not evading taxes? Just trying to get direction as a hobbyist. I mean, first and foremost, again, kind of reiterating on what we were talking about earlier in the thing, to me, selling on Etsy is you have your hobby first that you enjoy doing, and you want to sell that hobby to people. So... yeah, it'll work for you no matter what it is. But
right. If you want to build a profitable business, then absolutely. But when you say hobbyist, I'm not trying to evade taxes. If you are profiting from an online business, you are a business. You are not a hobbyist. If you are making a profit, you are not a hobbyist. You are a business. It doesn't matter if, because ultimately, if you're selling online, you are doing business with people. HAA is business oriented. Now, I don't teach you the legalities of business because I am not qualified to do that. You are going to be responsible for your own taxes and things like that. But if your objective is growth on Etsy and building a brand and marketing a brand, then yes, HAA would be a good resource.
Will HAA help a super niche shop that's already doing well, just looking to grow monthly revenue to the next level? Also, I don't sell for holidays, strictly evergreen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We've had several people who are already in the six figures multiply their income. And again, if you're already to the point where you're successful and you have the expendable income, we have a 30-day money back guarantee. Even if you're already successful, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. It's not, if I provide you a product and that product is not what you expected, I do not deserve to keep your money for it. And I believe that for the majority of industries.
Absolutely.
I'm reluctant now that I've taken 3 YouTube Etsy Gurus courses and learned nothing, even asking for refunds as some had typos, bad video quality, etc. We actually just re-recorded, was it the last launch or the launch before that we released that?
Launch before last.
So launch before last, we actually just re-recorded everything and published it all in 4K with studio quality equipment. I don't think we had this mic yet. I think we were using the SM7B still. We do our best to not have any typos or anything like that. I ran all of the text on the pages through our
Carla, you will not find a course online better than HAA. And I know that sounds like, that sounds like a big inflated statement. My ask is that you check it out. Check out some of my free content. Check out some of my free mini courses and resources. Check out my free videos.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of them on my channel. And if you enjoy that format,
you'll enjoy the course.
You'll understand the quality that we put into HAA, because quality is my number one objective.
And one of the big things a lot of the times, because we've never had any negative feedback with the course, but some of the things that we've had refunds and things like that, when I've looked at their shops, it's very clear that they didn't look at the content prior to doing so. My only real ask, if you refund, I don't ask you to do anything, but maybe like actually look through all of the material and see if what you need is there before you do so, because what you're looking for probably is. And if it isn't, again, we'll give you your money back.
Well, yeah,
no questions asked.
We've had a couple people who have refunded because they said there was nothing about SEO, and
like there's a whole module on SEO.
They just didn't.
They just didn't get there yet.
Right? They didn't look. So
I'm excited to hear more about HAA. Well, you're in the right place. Module 7 is beastly. It do be though.
Module 7 is the meat and potatoes.
What's if you already have and pay for E-Rank? Do you cancel your subscription? We'll take care of that process. We will push you to our paid version, and it will. Do we have it set to auto expire, or do we do that manually still?
We do, I think we do it manually.
Okay, so when it's over, we manually will. I mean, basically, what will happen after the 12 months that we provide you is over, you'll just lose the account that you currently had. Back up. You will lose the premium account access that you currently have. Your account won't disappear, and all you have to do is go in and re-sign back up for your like paid part.
Yeah, but all of your things like your keyword lists.
Yeah, you keep all that.
Yeah, it doesn't. We save that for you. It doesn't go.
We're at an hour and 45 minutes, and I'm brain dead on how to word things.
I know. I can tell. You sound brain dead right now.
I am brain dead right now. I can't talk anymore. I'm dead. And Tina said there are some professional tax consultants and bookkeepers in the student group too. Just saying.
Yes.
Yep.
Michelle Badger. She's in there. She's an accountant. She's awesome.
I'm interested in joining the program as a current Etsy seller, but I don't use Facebook anymore, affecting health. So how might someone like me work to join your group chats? Will I miss out on a lot?
You'll miss out on the community.
Yeah.
Facebook is where the community is. So you will miss out on that.
The community aspect is the only thing though, really, that you will miss out on. You do not have to have Facebook to make HAA work.
No, you get the whole course and all of that. You just don't get to work with other students and ask them questions.
Exactly. So you're going to miss out on a lot of that. However, you can use a Facebook and not add people, making a Facebook profile, creating a business page, and then using the business page to communicate with the group would be the way that I would recommend doing it. Don't add other people. I fully understand the sentiment of staying off of social media. It's incredibly toxic. We understand. Okay. However, running a business without social media in today's day and age is a risk, because you're missing out on like more than half of the advertisement opportunities and marketing and
so if you wanted to create like a burner account or use like a business account to join
burner account,
just to join the group so you can participate, that's fine. You don't have to have anything on your profile. We completely understand.
Hey, I've got a few burner accounts.
You better not.
Jessica said, I just want to say that not only is HA helpful, it's fun to learn the material and super interesting to learn a lot of the strategies and psychologies. Have you guys ever thought about using a Discord group? We have a Discord and we haven't really been using it. We've been neglecting it. We're sorry. We love you guys, but it was just another thing that's too much to keep up with. But I do intend on getting back into that in the next probably month or two and starting to keep up with it more. It's a lot.
Does it help to figure out your niche? It does. That's like a big part of the beginning of the program is defining a profitable niche and making sure that you're catering to a target customer, identifying your target audience, and building a psychological brand that is full of awesome psychological triggers that really, really connect you to that target audience. So
can't wait for a safe place to share stuff and ask questions. The Discord's actually a pretty good place for that. We are not in there as much as we should be. shut up, Discord.
You getting the link?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the Discord link and drop it in here, and we'll go ahead and
Make sure that it's the
edit invite link, expire never, no limit on uses, generate, copy,
there we go.
paste. There you go. There is the Discord link. If you use Discord, if you don't, then don't bother with it. We're both in there. Feel free to add me as a friend on Discord if you actually want to communicate. I don't really use it for much other than like yelling at game developers. But yeah, we'll probably go ahead and cut it there. I don't think there's really anything other. Is it help you figure out your niche?
I answered that.
Yeah, you answered that. But yeah, that's it. We love you guys. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks to all the new. I mean, we're still at 300 people. That's crazy.
Thank you to everybody who donated. We're at $275.
We doubled our donation size.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is absolutely awesome. They provide chat support, phone support. They provide safe places for young adults and teenagers to reach out for help in the LGBTQ plus community, so that if they have, suicidal thoughts, or if they're feeling unsafe at home, they have somewhere where they can ask for help. This is a completely free service that they can utilize. And it's, thanks to donations like this that they're able to continue running. So please consider donating.
Just realizing I was laughing hysterically while you were in the middle of saying all of that. I was laughing at our Discord.
Oh,
I was not paying attention to what she was saying at all.
That's fine. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and roll some HAA testimonials. If you guys are new here, feel free to watch those. These are from students who are in the program.
I can't do the heart thing.
But if
Mine ends up looking like an orb.
If you have questions about Handmade Alpha Academy, if you're interested in it, feel free to email me at starla@handmadealphaacademy.com. and I will get back with you.
Feel free to watch our testimonial video while I ponder the orb. Have a good day.
I have become a better person through HAA.
What I really like about Starla is her honesty and transparency. There's so much that she gives to people for free.
I'm like, this is an incredible framework for me to build into and adjust to and adapt to, and all these things that I would have never been able to figure out on my own.
I was like reinvigorated about my business when I started HAA.
Our armor was featured in Lucifer season 5 finale, and the main actor got to lore things that we created here. Part of the reason why we were able and ready to do such a thing was because of the alphas.
Joining Etsy, joining any online platform, you have question after question after question. HAA has been the one place where I've got answers for nearly all my questions.
You guys and what you have done with the Handmade Alpha Academy has literally changed my life.
And you get continued help no matter where you're at in your Etsy journey. That was probably the biggest selling point for me.
The way you teach it, it's simple, it's down to earth. I can comprehend it. That's one of the things I love about your teaching style.
I don't think I ever could have done it without being in the HAA. Your step-by-step steps were fantastic.
I don't know how you could not succeed by following the step-by-step really instruction of how you lead us through HAA.
The first 4+ years that I was on Etsy, I think I had 37 sales, and we've gotten well over 1,000 since then. I think I'm up to 1,200.
Self-paced, there's an amazing Facebook group that will help you.
Invest in yourself. It's worth every penny and so much more.
I look at my Etsy shop and I look at my website and I am just in awe of what I have done. And I just look at it every day and think, wow.
I actually think that for what you get, you guys are really, really not charging enough. I hate to say that.
I've had thoughts to myself where I've been like, I'd give you guys $3,000 for this course. I see how valuable it is.
2020, I did maybe $3,000. 2021, I did $10,000. HAA for me paid back for itself 6 weeks after I signed up for it.
I definitely recommend it. If you can invest the money, the time investment is not too bad.
Well worth the money. There is nothing in all that I've taken that I haven't been able to use for my business.
Absolutely, just do it, because there's no, what do you have to lose? And it's everything you need in one place.
It's hard to buy an education that will teach you practical skills like we learn in HAA.
Take the plunge, do it. First off, the money back guarantee is really a selling point for me.
She knows so much about marketing and branding and the psychology behind it. So that's really good knowledge to have, and she's so willing to share that.
So I would tell everybody out there that's thinking about it, if you're ready for this step and if you're ready to grow yourself and your business, it changed our lives. Honestly,